Hello, hello, beautiful people. How are you doing? Please say hi in the comment section and let me know where you are joining me from. I hope this is connected. I think it is. I don't know. Please say hi in the comments. Someone say hi. Let me know that you are joining me and tell me where you are joining me from. Hi, everyone. I am Ingrid Blaster. I am a digital accessibility expert and I am the founder of Linora Tech, an incredible company meant to support leaders and professionals in the digital world. You know, I am here to help you and to share a little bit of insight regarding the creation of inclusive and accessible experiences for everyone. And I really mean it when I say everyone. Sometimes we still have that feeling that everyone can see, can touch, can talk, and so much more. But there are incredible people in the world who are customers, parents, kids, partners, developers, right? Leaders with visible or invisible disabilities. And I don't know if you knew about it. I mean, I know many people are still thinking that people with disabilities, that disabilities are visible, but actually 70% of people with disabilities have invisible disabilities. All right, so keep that in mind if you feel like everyone is able. I see someone saying hi. Hi, John. From Nigeria. Oh, amazing. And again, everyone, if you have any question, or if you want to comment, just use it, just drop your thought in the comment section. I can see everything, I promise. I think so. Sometimes, the platform I'm using does not show the name, but I can track you down. I can do that. So please feel free to say hi, ask any question, and also share your thought. This is an engagement that is inclusive for you and myself. So let's talk about accessibility. So just without further ado, let's talk about today's topic, which is, around the question that is, are you stressed about accessibility, right? And what is a few things that no one told you about, you know? And I mean, for me personally, accessibility is such an important thing. But before that, let me just describe myself, which is something I love to do oftentimes, just because in my audience, sometimes we have people with low vision or people who are blind. I'm a Black woman. I'm always smiling. If this is the first time you are joining this session, hi. I am currently rocking my poofy natural black hair. I'm wearing like a vest that is red and a black jumper, and I have a little necklace of the African continent. And that's about it. If you never tried to self describe, take a minute and just describe yourself in the comment section. Let's have fun with that, okay? So, but basically, today talk is really around, some of the things that we don't usually talk about when it comes to digital accessibility. I mean, if you have been a little bit in the space, or if you are a leader, or maybe you are a head of engineering, or maybe you are a professional software developer or an engineer, you probably have felt that little shift around, inclusion and accessibility. And this is becoming more and more in demand, just compared to last year, there have been an increase in lawsuit, for example, in the USA regarding, accessibility. I think if I recall properly, some of those surveys are sharing 20% increase from 2024 to 2025. I was like, wait a minute. I thought that we were doing well in terms of accessibility. But yeah, there are movements, there are wins, but there are still there's still a lot to do when it comes to inclusion and accessibility in the digital space, you know. And I think that one interesting thing about it is a survey I saw a long time ago. I mean, long time is too hard to say. I would say probably 1 year or two, that stated that almost 94.8% of websites homepage are not inclusive and accessible to people with disabilities. When I heard that percentage, I said, what? This is a big number. And we all know by now, or maybe if you don't, there are almost 1.6, 1.3 billion people with a disability in the world, which means that this is a big market, you know. It's a huge market, and people with disabilities, along with friends and family, have a disposable income of more than $13 trillion. So, very, very huge market. Now, with that in mind, what is causing the stress? Why are people so stressed about accessibility? Well, one thing for sure, if you are feeling stressed about accessibility, let me tell you the truth. It is not your fault. And I repeat again, it is not your fault. There is just so much to do in accessibility. It's as if you are trying to climb a huge mountain. I mean, I'm pretty sure maybe some of you already have climbed the mountain before. I haven't, but I know it's hard. Have you climbed a mountain before? Let me know in the chat. I'm just curious. I have never climbed a mountain. Let me just tell you that. And let me see something. So I have not climbed a mountain, but I know someone who did. One of my friend went and climbed a mountain, and he was like, it was. I think he said he climbed it. It was fascinating. I know that from from what I've heard. It takes a lot to do that. And so, yes, you might feel overwhelmed about accessibility as if it is you climbing a huge mountain. And I think that it will be a fair statement to say that accessibility is quite huge, right? Some of the leaders or some of the professionals here in the audience might agree that there's a lot to do, right? There's too many moving parts, a lot of confusion. So thinking about shipping or launching products or solution, thinking about meeting the OKRs, right? Or thinking about even working with stakeholders, with clients, with designers, with QA team, with the developers. There's a lot at stake. And also dealing with legal part of accessibility, right? As we all know, in different countries, accessibility is now a requirement, depending on a few things regarding the business location and the business size and so much more. But in many countries, there are acts like the ADA in America, right? The American with the Disability Act. We have the ACA in Canada, the Accessibility Canadian Act. We also in Ontario, we have the AODA, the Accessibility for Ontarian with a Disability Act. And so in Europe, there is also the EAA, which is the European Accessibility Act. And all of those acts are kind of likely following the WCAG guidelines, which is the guideline created for meeting compliance for website, for example. But there is a lot. All I'm trying to say is that if you're feeling stressed, it is normal because there's just too many moving parts, you know? And I think that I want to address three areas that I think might probably help you a little bit. So let's talk first about, feeling overwhelmed. All right. One of the things that I understand about feeling overwhelmed is just because this is happening because there's, like I said, there is a lot to tackle at once. And one interesting thing about, tackling everything at once is that it may have a negative impact in the results. So it is true that we know there is a lot of moving parts. I will say the first thing you want to do if you are leading and you want to really succeed the long run with accessibility is to start prioritizing. I have seen myself, many leaders and developers trying to just cram everything, and it's not pretty. You are not succeeding in this journey that way. A simple analogy I can share about will be probably thinking about building a house. There are few steps that needs to happen when you are building a house. One is to understand the goal. What are you trying to achieve here, right? The second one is the build, the construction, the place where this is supposed to happen. The next one, which is going to be phase three, is going to be probably the design, making, beautifying the house, putting electricity and all that, the walls and everything. And then phase four will be validation, just making sure that everything is sound and approved. That's almost the same pillars that you have to use for accessibility, regardless of what you are doing or your role. Let's say you are a leader or maybe you are a professional and you are wanting to ensure inclusion and accessibility in everything you do. First, do you have clarity around the goal you are trying to achieve, or are you trying to cram a little more in your bucket? If you are, start breaking down the different goals and start prior- prioritizing which one will make more sense to tackle at the very beginning. I see a comment. Let me just check that. And again, please feel free if you're hearing something that resonates with you. Please give me a thumbs up, give me a reaction. Let me know that you're here and you're hearing me. If you're watching the replay, always feel free to react and ask any question. I always go back to the event and check if there is anything that people need from me. All right, I see a comment. Let me see that. Oh, I see John said it's quite unfortunate here in Nigeria, Africa, digital accessibility is still evolving. John, I will say that this is a journey. Don't feel sorry because in Africa, for example, accessibility is a little bit behind. Trust me, even in the state, accessibility is something that has been tackled years ago. It's been a long journey, even for Americans. It's been a long journey for Canadian. It's been a long journey for European. So do not feel like you are behind. Okay, understand that if it's something that people are now talking about, this is where it starts. Accessibility really start with awareness. And so although it's not moving faster like other continents or countries, understand that this is a journey and you are getting there. So I'm really excited about what will come for Africa, because you have plenty of examples now outside that you can use and leverage to have a fast growth, if that makes sense. So really, when I was talking about overwhelming, like I said, just prioritize, refine your goals, try to see if maybe you can break it down in phases. I liked what you just said, John. So the question will be, hey, if you are passionate about accessibility, what is the goal you are trying to achieve? And again, don't try to put everything at once. Think about like building a house. Go in phases. Select what is more important and easy to do. If you take something that is really important but extremely hard to do, you might kill the momentum Okay, this is something I didn't know before. No one told me about it. When I started my journey, oh gosh, of advocacy, I wanted to do everything. That was first what I had in mind. And it didn't work. I was just miserable. I was sad. And I took a break. And that's not what is wanted. If you are again a leader, prioritize and see what is important and easy to do. Tackle that first. It will give you so much momentum. It will help the team, and you will see a quick wins, knowing that that task was super important and we did it. Once you get that first feeling, you can tackle the next thing. It's like learning the ABC when you went to school. It's like learning to swim. It's like learning to drive. If you were to tackle the most important thing that was so difficult, you probably will just give up. You know, you probably will just give up. And I see someone else saying something. Let me check that out. Hi, Dr. Rocky. So glad you're here. Dr. Rocky said, bite sized pieces. I love it. Yes. And again, do not feel like, oh my gosh, if I start breaking down things in small size, it's just gonna be too easy. I may not be feeling like I'm doing something wrong. This is actually the perfect way to tackle what you need to do with accessibility. Listen, you are preparing for 2026, creating the best inclusive experience ever. Don't feel like you need to rush. Just prepare right now. And I mean, we already toward the end. This is the best time to start planning. Talk with your team if you have a team. Talk with accessibility specialists if you do have that support. Ask questions to people who have been maybe in that same journey. Don't feel overwhelmed and give up. All right. Second thing that you need to think about when it comes to stress and accessibility is the feeling of. I mean, I just love this topic. Just to be honest with you, I can talk about it all day, every day. And one of the things that I think is important to manage, especially because you are preparing to create big wins and big success, is burnout. Again, that's another thing people don't talk about. We talk about meeting the compliance. We talk about avoiding lawsuit. We talk about training the developers. We talk about this. But are we even talking about burnout and how it manifests in initiatives around accessibility? Burnout is real. How do you see the impact of burnout? You see leaders or developers taking time off. They can't. I took time off at some point. I was totally burned. Like you add more on my plate, I just crash. Or you add more on my plate, the result, unfortunately, wouldn't have been good. Although I would push myself to deliver, it will not be good. So if you have projects with your teams and you can tell that, hey, they got training, they got tools, they got this, but for some reasons, the results is not improving. This is happening because of burnout. People are facing burnout when they are set in an environment that are very reactive. It's like putting a fire on a house and you're like, try to escape. Everyone will go everywhere. And people are trying to rush. And there is like that pressure. It's burnout. Have you had a feeling of burnout before? Let me know in the chat. I see someone commenting. Hi, Maria. How are you doing? She said, needed to see this. Oh, I am so happy. I am so happy to hear that. You know, there is an incredible amount of people that are feeling burned out by accessibility because there is just a lot of things that they have to tackle. And adding accessibility on top of that and adding the pressure of some deadline, in the tech environment, we usually work with, a very short sprint, right? Things have to be moving quite fast. But when we are talking about that short timeline, sometimes it's not enough for creating with accessibility in mind. You are first giving that request to developers, to tech leaders who may not even have the knowledge required to tackle accessibility the right way. And again, I am not saying that is the developer fault. It is not. And it's not the leader fault. But just think about it this way. We are trying to create in an environment that is not set up for success. Did you hear that? Amen. If you heard this again, 2025, we are at the end of 2025. This is the perfect time to rethink. How do we even create an environment of success for the team? Being on a reactive mode is not helping. You need to shift in a proactive way, right? Like someone said, if someone was to come and fight you right now, do you feel like you want to learn about fighting right when you're facing this person, or you would have loved to learn how to fight way before? And for some of you that don't like this example, let's talk about swimming. Do you feel like if someone was to push you in the water and you don't know how to swim, you wish you can learn how to swim right away there? I don't think so. That's a reactive situation. You are trying to survive. You don't even know what you're doing. You are like not in a good place. But if you were to learn how to swim way before and someone push you in the water, guess what? You may have that little moment of surprise, but you're just gonna get back in. The same thing with the fight. If you knew how to fight and someone is attacking you, that knowledge just comes naturally to you. That's called a proactive approach. So now think about your team or think about yourself. Did you give yourself enough time to learn about accessibility so that you take a more proactive approach? Or are you still in a reactive mode? I mean, this question is so important, and I hope that you can take up the time, write down on a piece of paper everything you think about accessibility, prioritize some of your goal or refine the goal. See if there is a way for you to shift a little bit left so that you can have that knowledge, that support way ahead of time so that you can use it naturally when situations come to you. The last part that I think is important to tackle is imposter syndrome. Oh my God. Again, this is another thing no one talk about. Let me see. I saw a few comments. Dr. Rocky said, I have to leave for a staff meeting. I will watch the remainder of the session later today. Yes, you can access the replay. Just use the same link and watch the replay. Again, if you have any question, feel free to drop that in the comment or just directly message me. I am always available. I'm an open book. Okay? Thank you, Dr. Rocky. And I see Maria. Maria said, I am doing my major project for my online MA in creative practice. I have dyspraxia, dyscalculia, and potential ADHD, while helping to supporting my 82 years old mom. I mean, there's a lot on your plate, Maria, and I'm so grateful and thankful that you are moving forward, understanding who you are, your strength and your weakness. And that's another thing that people don't talk about, right? Everyone feels like everyone works the same way. No, and everyone experience is unique, you know? And I love what you shared, although I understand that there is a little bit of challenge that you're probably facing as well. And again, Maria, even for you, before 2026 starts, what do you want to see changing? Start thinking about, that those little goals. And again, don't try to cram everything. Okay? Prioritize, categorize, and see what can I do that will have the most impact that is easy to do. Tackle that first, then you go down the line. This is going to be a game changer for you, and I'm so excited to hear probably your journey later on. I mean, it's just going to be incredible. I see another person, Maria said, I am also looking at how to set up my own business. Ooh, I love that. There are a lot of technology out there that can help. Now, when it comes to accessibility, um, there is a little bit of homework that you might need to do in order to make sure that, for example, your website is accessible. But trust me, if you still follow me, I'm going to drop a few hints, tools, and clarity just to support your journey. All right. I see also John said, yeah, in Nigeria, Africa, digital accessibility is still a gold mine to explore, especially creating basic digital product for basic education. That is so true. I am on the roadmap of accessibility design and testing. Love it. Love it, John. Thank you for sharing. I mean, there's so much to tackle, but really think about burnout in a way that there's a lot happening to you. In terms of imposter syndrome, I'm just gonna be blunt here. You know more than others. Do not disqualify what you've learned over time. Basically, through maybe a request, through your team, through some of the meetings that you have, or even maybe if you join some of my content, you probably have learned more than yesterday, right? More than the past. So do not discredit that knowledge that you have. In terms of imposter syndrome, I often felt like I needed to learn more, and guess what, I went and learned more, and that feeling still did not disappear. I was like, what is happening? Why am I still having this feeling that I am not qualified to impact? I am not qualified to talk about it. I am not qualified to share about inclusion and accessibility. You are more than qualified. What you're hearing is just a little voice trying to pull you back to a place where you felt comfortable. But please, this is a journey of growth, okay? This is a journey of learning. Are you someone who can learn via communicating with others, via, getting resources, via putting together things? If you answer yes, I can learn, I can grow, then let go of feeling the imposter syndrome. That's the easiest way I can, kind of support you with in that short amount of time. And I hope that makes sense. Let go of the imposter syndrome, because what you are going through, it's a journey of growth, and wherever you are in that journey, you are qualified to support, to advocate, to make things happen in accessibility. Remember, a human being has so much potential, even and including everyone. with or without disabilities. And it really doesn't matter even the location. We have people coming from Africa, from Europe, from America. Like there is no boundaries. What is important is just to know again that where you are highly qualified. I hope this short session helped you. I will see you next time. Again, give me a reaction. If you have any question, just let me know. I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye bye, everyone.